happening, guys? We are here. We are live. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are all doing well. England versus the Netherlands today in the Euro. So I'm in a good mood because obviously England might get to another cup final, a consecutive European Championship final. But that's not what we're here to talk about. You guys know what it is, man. We're here. We're being consistent with the content, and we have a lot to talk about when it comes to Manchester United. Finally, about flipping time. There's things going on, excuse my language, but they're getting active with the outgoings. For so long, the last week or so, it seemed like a lot of the news coming out around Manchester United was to do with incomings, but we're finally Manchester United are getting active with the outgoings. We got some updates on the Mason Greenwood situation. We got some updates on the Jadon Sancho situation. Donny Van de Beek has officially left the club, so he is the first sale of the Ineos regime, if you wanna put it like that. But yeah, listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got to talk about some Leny Yoro news. We were live yesterday talking about it as it broke regarding the bid for Leny Yoro. Reportedly, a third bid Manchester United will be putting in for Jarrad Branthwaite. And reportedly, Man United are looking to sign 3 centre-backs. Not 1, not 2, 3. Man United are looking to buy 3 centre-backs. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Ugarte because it's reported that there could be some change up in the structure of the deal. It's also being reported that there isn't really 100% conviction across all sections of the senior management at Manchester United regarding a move for him. And also, we're going to talk about Mitchell van der Gaag officially having his contract terminated. It's not that his contract expired. They terminated his contract, which essentially makes way for Ruud van Nistelrooy to officially come in. So we have so much to talk about, as always. So be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe. But first, we're going to start with, what should we start with, guys? What should we start with? I feel like we always start with the non-transfer news first. So we're going to kind of stay within that kind of structure. And we're going to start with the non-transfer news regarding Manchester United. And it seems that Mitchell van der Gaag has officially left Manchester United with his contract being terminated. If you guys don't know, by the way, Mitchell van der Gaag has been Erik ten Hag's second in command, if you want to say that, for quite some time. So it's very interesting that not only has he left, but it was on the end of a termination of his contract. What does that mean? Essentially, that means it makes way for Ruud van Nistelrooy to come in as the second in command to Erik ten Hag, which is the expectation. And he looks like he's set to pursue a career as an actual manager rather than being an assistant. So all the best to him. For 2 years been at Manchester United. So I wish him all the best of luck with that. But let's talk about PSR. I know some of you lot don't like PSR. Some people don't like to talk about the finances, the money aspects for Manchester United. But if you do not know, Manchester United announced or shared with the wider public their 3 months results for the financial year. They posted a net loss of £71 million. Now, this does impact Manchester United's PSR in a way, but it is difficult to always kind of predict what the final outcome will be. Of course, I anticipate that the financial department at Manchester United have heavily forecasted for this to kind of predict it. This is their 9-month, accounts that they have released for the 23-24 season. And with 3 months left, which is up until June, they still haven't announced that. United are sailing close. They're very close. This is what reports are saying. They're very close within that PSR breach. Now, I'm not saying that they're fully going to breach it because it's unlikely. Right now it doesn't take into consideration quite a few things. But for, just some understanding, PSR, the profit and sustainability regulations implemented by the FA, is basically there to allow clubs or ensure that clubs stay within a limit across a 3-year financial period. That limit is 105 million over 3 years. They're only allowed to report a financial loss of that amount. And for this financial year, Manchester United are obviously within the higher bracket. But guys, do not be worried. not like, no disrespect to Everton and Nottingham Forest, clubs that have struggled to stay within the PSR limits. But I think Manchester United will be totally okay. As part of the PSR calculations as well, there are significant deductions relating to infrastructure, investment in women's football, youth development, community work, and any other COVID-19 related losses. So at the end of the financial year, all of that will reflect what will be in that kind of stuff. Things such as Manchester United recently building the women's team training ground, the one that the men's team are using right now, that will be able to be deducted from whatever losses that they end up reporting. So that will actually come around and help them. Other measures that Manchester United have kind of took in action over the last year or so is loans such as Jadon Sancho, offloading some of his wages. That is another thing that will come handy for them. People like Donny Van de Beek, again, his loan spell, offloading his wages. That is going to be something that comes in handy for them. From a total kind of revenue perspective, Manchester United have shown a drop in revenue in comparison to the same period this time at that point last year, which is of course because Manchester United ended the season outside of Europe. They weren't competing in any European competition after December, whereas last season United were in Europa up until the latter stages, I think of February, March. So that is where Manchester United stand at. Now, other financial stuff that are reported in that is the cash injection or the injection of monetary funds from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, as he promised. He promised, I think it was $300 million. He's begun to do that. He did a majority of it when he first came in, and he's just done some more recently. So he continues to invest. He continues to invest in Manchester United. Of course, Man United need a lot of money. But I think the goal for Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos is to make Manchester United not only self-sufficient, but profitable. That is probably the goal, but you can't do that without probably spending some of your own money. So, something's got to give. Something's got to give. But that's where we stand currently with the financial aspect of stuff. And as I mentioned, Mitchell van der Gaag has officially left Manchester United, had his contract terminated. I can't lie, guys. I'm looking at that a bit sideways, not at anybody, but it's just like, for me, that's Erik ten Hag's right hand, like been through with him for a long time, and I get that it's out of his control. It is out of his control to, if Ineos had decided to terminate his contract, there's maybe not much he can do, but loyalty in it. But again, I'm just here. I'm just gripsing on to nothing at this point. Just a little update on Manuel Ugarte, reported by Florin Plettenberg. There are reports suggesting that the deal structure for signing Manuel Ugarte is what's taking so long for anything to kind of get the ball rolling. There are discussions about a loan with an option to buy, and there are also discussions about a permanent transfer. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Are we keen on having loans? I feel like loans are just stopgaps. You look at Man City, they don't really get players on loan. You look at Liverpool, they don't really. I think did they get Gravenberch on loan? But I feel like big clubs shouldn't get players on loan unless they are dying for it, Unless they are dying for it. I don't think we should be getting players on loan. There is no loan spell that I can think of in recent years that has really worked out for Manchester United. Not Radamel Falcao, not what's his name, Wout Weghorst. Wout Weghorst, we could argue it did. We can argue that it didn't. But people like Soufiane Amrabat, I just feel like if there is truly that interest in that player, and I understand a loan is kind of, sussing out the player, seeing if they fit into your structure, etc. But if it's coming at the price of a big fee, if you're telling me PSG are expecting a 10 million, 15 million loan spell, I laughed at Chelsea when they got João Felix for 6 months and they spent 12 million. So it would be nice for Manchester United to kind of get the ball rolling on Manuel Ugarte, and of course, in a way that is a permanent transfer. I don't want a loan. I don't want a loan. Today, I was very sad, guys. You know why I was very sad? Because Fabrizio posted a here we go. Well, not a here we go, but it was more so an update about one of my favorite players, Youssouf Fofana at Monaco, who has reportedly agreed personal terms with AC Milan. Man United were never really in for him, but I still had a little bit of hope there that Manchester United might go and make a move for him. I remember earlier stages of the transfer window, there was talk about Yusuf Fofana before the topic of Manuel Ugarte, etc. came up. But now he's going to AC Milan. So I can't be too mad about that. I can't really be too mad about that. More information, sorry, from Florian Plettenberg also suggesting that a month ago, Antonio Silva of Benfica was the absolutely desired option for Manchester United. Very, very interesting, because United never went in for a bid. There was no talk about United potentially agreeing terms with the player. There was radio silence, but it's reported that a month ago he was the main guy that they wanted in centre back, and since that, a lot has changed. We've seen bids going in for Jarrad Branthwaite twice. We've seen a bid going in for Leny Yoro. We've seen bids expected to go in for Matthias De Ligt, which we're going to come to as well, but nothing for him. So it's interesting that United moved away from that. It's very, very interesting. But we're going to get into the news. We're going to get into all the nitty-gritty stuff. So be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. We're going to start with some Jarrad Branthwaite stuff, but before that, let me just quickly get through this member chat. Axe says, should we sell stadium naming rights so we can blow the bank on Leny Yoro? I'll be happy with Old Trafford becoming Greg's Arena. Greg's would never sponsor Manchester United. If you don't know what Greg's is, guys, it's like it's a food place. It's a food place, an English food place. I don't even know how to describe Greg's to people that are not from the UK, but they do a very, very mean Tottenham cake. Their Tottenham cake, I'm a big fan of Leny Yoro, man. Let him do his thing. Let him do his thing. His dad is not that much older than me, guys. His dad is probably like, I think he's like 6 years or 5 years older than me, which is. I called my nephew today, just to like have a chit chat as usual after school, but also to say, look at your age mates. Look what your age mates are doing in the Euros. What are you doing for me? Yeah. And you're the same age as Leny Yoro. I don't know, man. But Leny Yoro's a baller, man. If you know, you know. I've been talking about him for a long time, and I'm glad he shut Adrien Rabiot up. Sometimes footballers talk too much. Footballers be talking too much, and I'm glad that he shut Rabiot up. Maybe that will teach Rabiot. No, I don't know why. By the way, if you get asked a question about a young player, I don't know why you have to kind of throw them to the wolves. Just because they're your opponent. I don't know. I found that kind of funny. And then I saw him, post game, he was doing this whole talk now thing. And then they asked him about it in the press conference, and he basically said, I don't need to say the name because the person who it's about, they know who they are. It's kind of funny, but let's quickly some updates on Jarrad Branthwaite. But yeah, as I said, guys, you can join the members gang. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course you get to support the growth of the channel. Now, reported by the Times last night and this morning is that Manchester United are expected to return to Everton with a third bid. There's no information about if this is the final bid, given the fact that they bidded 45 plus 5 last time. That took it to £50 million. Everton have been holding out for the 70 plus valuation. I think the price that I've seen the most is 72 to 75 million. Everton value him at the same price that they believe that people like Wesley Fofana, Harry Maguire, Josko Vardio, all these guys went for 70 plus. They feel like Jarrad Branthwaite is on the same wavelength, and they don't want to sell because of they're not going to sell because of that. Simple as that. They're not going to do it because of that. Now, obviously, there's so many other factors to take into place. Manchester United, the ball was kind of in Man United's court. I would say up to the latter stages of June, where it seemed like Everton would have to sell someone for PSR purposes, for financial year purposes. But in the end, towards the end of June, it never really came to that, and the ball was no longer in United's court. They have since, by the way, gone on to bid for other centre-backs. And there was reports yesterday suggesting that Manchester United are looking to buy 3 centre-backs. They are looking to buy 3 centre-backs. One that is the starter alongside Lisandro Martinez. 2, one that is the rotation for whoever it is that they buy for right-sided centre-back. And then 3, whoever it is that can be rotation for Lisandro Martinez. Now, that makes sense to me why Branthwaite, Yoro, and De Ligt are the options, because Branthwaite can play right-sided centre-back, can also play left-sided centre-back. De Ligt, I think, will be the squad player. I don't think he's going to be the consistent starter, but he'll be the squad player. And I think it will be between Leny Yoro or Jarrad Branthwaite. Now, obviously, Jarrad Branthwaite has that history at PSV with Ruud van Nistelrooy, so that he might be able to get a little something out of him. But for now, what do you guys see the likelihood of signings for centre-backs? Do you think United are going to end up with 3 centre-backs? Do you think United are more likely to end up with 2? Do you think United are going to end up with 1? Or do you think United are going to end up with none? Do you think they're going to end up with none? I think 1 will be... I think 1 is for sure. I think 1 player is for sure in terms of centre-back. I feel like 3 is actually wishful thinking. I'm not going to lie, guys. I do feel like... Because how can you go and blow near enough to 150 million on 3 centre-backs? Obviously, it's not exactly that. The bid for Leny Yoro was about 50 million. The bid for De Ligt is about 43 million. So yeah, it'll be about 150 million, depending on how much they bid in for Jarrad Branthwaite. A lot of reports coming out over the last day or so that suggest that Man United will definitely be going back in for a third bid, sorry. It's just a matter of when. Now, I thought, I'm not gonna lie, guys, a part of me did think that this would be the week that one of the transfers would kind of come to fruition. Either this Jarrad Branthwaite, either De Ligt, sorry, or Xerxes. I really thought this would be the week. Of course, Netherlands are playing today against England, so that is still, they are still at camp. Nothing's really going to happen. Paulinho hasn't really... Paulinho is just doing his medical now with Bayern Munich, having signed with them like a week or so ago. Big up to Ridwan says, okay, so Stephen Ralston is saying, Lisandro Martinez is the only guaranteed starter in central defence for the new campaign. De Ligt and Branthwaite played 25 games each at centre-back. You lot are taking a piss there. Come on, man. You know I'd be pronouncing things weird, guys. Come on. If you're new here, then I guess you don't know. But, guys, I always be pronouncing words wrong, man. English ain't my first language. You lot should be happy that I'm actually doing this in English. English is not my first language. Steven says that English tax. Honestly, I thought 45 million was a reasonable price tag for Jarrad Branthwaite. I thought when United went in with the initial first bid, look at this, United's first bid. Let's look at the bids that they put in for Jarrad Branthwaite. 35 million was the first bid, plus 10 million in add-ons that brought it to 45 million. Then now, the second bid is 45 million plus 5 million in add-ons. So the increase from 35 to 45 in fixed fee, that's big. But the add-ons has decreased it. You see, guys, English ain't my first language. The add-ons have decreased. And my point is, if they're going back for a third bid, what do you think that third bid is going to be? Do you think it's going to be 55 million, just straight 55 million and no add-ons, no sell-on clause, no nothing? Because that is kind of the trajectory of all the bids. It went from 35 to 45. So the next bid must be 55 million and no add-ons. Because that in itself will be more than anything that they bidded before. If you guys understand what I'm saying, that in itself, a fixed fee of 55 million would be absolutely more than it is. For me, 55 million is 10 million too much for Jarrad Branthwaite. I'm being honest, it's 10 million too much. Man United put in a 50 million bid overall for Jarrad Branthwaite, who is the best English talent, centre-back defensive talent. They put in 50 million for a 18-year-old French talent, and that got accepted. You cannot tell me that in terms of ceiling, because I think that's what United are buying for right now. I don't think they're buying for confirmed world-class talent right now. They're buying for the future. The next year or two, you're going to develop into this, amazing player. I think you can't tell me that Branthwaite's ceiling potentially is higher than Leny Yoro's. Isn't add-ons better than straight payment? Yes, it is. Add-ons are, because sometimes they're achievable stuff, sometimes they're not achievable stuff. Flipping Anthony Martial had a Ballon d'Or clause in his in his payment structure when he joined Manchester United. So it's not always achievable, which also puts the ball in the court of the team that's buying the player, because essentially you can say, well, you know, if we go on to win the Premier League, we'll give you 3 million extra. If we go on to win the Champions League, we'll give you 5 million extra, blah, blah, blah. You can say all that kind of stuff. But I think with United, and I think also the cash flow aspect comes into it, because it's reported with the Joshua Zirkzee deal that they are looking to kind of not trigger his release clause and instead just bid the 34 million pounds that his release clause is, so that they can restructure the payment and maybe do, you know, we pay you in installments, Klarna settings, guys, clear pay settings. United, from a cash flow perspective, are trying to find the best options. Super Scud says, yeah, but Yoro has 1 year left and Branthwaite has 3+1. You know what? On the topic of Yoro, let's come to Yoro, guys. Please, yeah, I'm just going to be so honest. I'm going to be so honest, guys. Pictures like this, I can't. Please, if Leny Yoro doesn't join Manchester United, I will be so upset, because when I see pictures like this, it looks sick. Obviously, this is not the confirmed second kit, but according to leaks, this is a great edit. Whoever flipping did this edit, because this looks amazing. He looks like he should be at United, and this looks very cool. He looks like a very, very cool guy. But please, if United if they don't get him, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be so mad. But again, Florian Plettenberg reporting less than an hour or so ago that Leny Yoro has still not to make a decision yet regarding the situation of joining Manchester United or joining Real Madrid. Now, further on that, Real Madrid remain confident. Real Madrid remain confident in the ability of signing Leny Yoro, because they know that the player's desire is to play for them. They're basically saying, like, we're going to call your bluff. Despite the fact that Real Madrid have opened, Despite the fact that Real Madrid have offered a bid, first bid, and the only bid that they've put in. He doesn't want you guys. Don't do this, guys. Come on, he's not coming. Listen, we can hope. Yeah, we can hope. But Real Madrid's bid was 17 million pounds. Now, if you don't remember, a couple years back, similar thing happened with Rennes and Camavinga. If you lot remember, I'm sure you remember, a similar thing happened. United wanted Camavinga. I was approaching Rennes to talk to them. He'd already committed essentially to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid came out on top. If you go back how many years ago, 10 or so years ago, Raphael Varane and Lens, Manchester Sir Alex Ferguson wanted to chat to them. You know, he was considering to join Manchester United, and then bam, Real Madrid come. And, you know, when Real Madrid come knocking, you go. It's as simple as that in world football. But it's reported that Manchester United already have an agreement in place with Lille to sign Leny Yoro. And United are also aware of Yoro's preference to join Real Madrid, but they hope to force the hand of Lille with this substantial bid. Now, the president of Lille, let me not butcher his name, Olivier Letang. You know me, guys. I be butchering names. But Olivier Letang is reportedly pushing Leny Yoro to join Manchester United. Now, it's some background information on Leny Yoro. If you lot don't know, he came through Lille's academy. So I can see it getting a bit sentimental. In America, in America, what? In France, they do not make as much money as, say, the UK when it comes to TV broadcasting rights, especially the smaller teams. People aren't paying across the world to watch French football. Because of that, clubs have to generate revenue in alternative ways. Now, this bid can substantially help a club like Lille, given the fact that their second, I would say, biggest asset to sell is Jonathan David, who they've been trying to sell for the last 2 or so years. And now his valuation is at around 25 million, and he could leave on a free as well. These are the 2 players that they have approaching free agency next summer. Leny Yoro, Jonathan David. They have to be able to sell them both in this window. And that's why I feel like it might get a bit sentimental on their end with the president of Lille and Leny Yoro, where he could essentially say to him, listen, brother, you've come through our academy. You know what is, you know the importance of this club, etc., etc. This money will make a big difference for us. 50 million versus 17 million that Real Madrid wanted. And I said this ages ago. I said Real Madrid will never ever get caught up in a kind of tug of war match for a player, because over the last 10 years, you know what club have the bigger pool. Like, United can't walk into a room anymore and say we're Man United. They can't do that anymore. It don't really work. That don't work. But Real Madrid have the Champions League to back it up. They got the La Ligas. They've got all this stuff. They've got the best players right now. So they've got a bigger selling point when it comes to the now. But what Man United are trying to sell him is the future, and that he's a part of that future. Now, this is where my question lies with you guys, and I want you lot to get involved in the chat. If Leny Yoro joins Manchester United, if this is a big if, because a part of me thinks he might not. Are you happy with the idea of him staying for 3 years and then going on to Real Madrid? At that point, he's 21, 22. Do you think that's possible? Big up to DJ with the super chat. Big up, my brother. I hope you are doing well. Says big up, sis. Hope you're good, loving the channel. I hope United don't pay stupid money for Branthwaite. Yoro is a baller, but I think Real will get him. I think that's been kind of the topic of discussion as well in the United View group chat. Big up to my brother DJ, man. It's been a minute. I will see you in the studio in about a month's time for when the season returns. But it's been a topic of discussion, I guess, in the group chat as well, about whether or not whether he's going to come to United. I think a lot of people feel like he won't, which is why I feel like United are leaning towards, getting all their ducks in a row to sign other centre backs. I generally think that Ali says let him go, man. Jay says he ain't ready for the Premier League. Kweku says sounds like PK all over again. I don't mind, to be honest. Michael says if he comes to United, he'll be having some Madridian bats. Axe says no, United got life. True Legion says Lille could bluff and wait until January window. That could happen as well. That he could turn around, and if Real Madrid are not willing to buy him this season, there could be a likelihood that if he's decided to sign an extension, imagine he decides to sign an extension. Like, for example, it's not the same, but Benjamin Sesko, right? The beginning of this transfer window, he was so heavily linked to a move to Arsenal. And then out of nowhere, he signed a new deal with RB Leipzig with a new release clause. Now, I'm not saying Leny Yoro will do that, but that is an alternative thing that he could do that could put the ball back in Lille's court. It can allow them to kind of be in control of the entire situation. However, that might then price him out of a move in the future. He might not be guaranteed to be a big superstar. He might not, reach the levels that they think that he will reach. I think right now they are betting on the now. Man United are betting on the now. Lille are betting on the now. And Real Madrid are just like, you know what, we're going to see how it plays out. Real Madrid sound like a team that's confident in themselves. They sound like a team that's confident in themselves. Flex Felix says, is he going to be our Ineos first 100 million player? Buy him 40 million, sell him 2 seasons later to Real for 100 million. That's true. That could be the case as well. Again, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But that could also be a reason why maybe United are looking to buy 3 centre-backs this window instead of buying, just 2. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said this time and time again, that they want to create these big priced players from basically lower valuations. They want to buy players for 30, 40, 50 million and then flip that for 100 million. That's what they want to do, rather than continuously going out and spending 100 million, etc., etc. This is one that I think we've got to keep an eye on. I think between De Ligt, between Jarrad Branthwaite, and between Leny Yoro, I don't know who's going to be the first centre-back signing. I don't know who's going to be the first. I will be very, very shocked if it's Leny Yoro. If you lot missed it, and let me pull it up right now on the screen as well, because Leny Yoro, I did not know. And I do think this is his official account. I do think this is his official account, which is why I'm going to show it to you guys. But I don't know if you lot saw this yesterday. Somebody tweeted, someone tweeted saying, I don't want you, Man United. Leave me alone. And then what looks like Leny Yoro's real account says fake account. You guys are psycho. Signal this account. So I guess the fake news has kind of already started coming in, and he had to kind of step out and put that put that in the bin. Using logical thinking, what would you rather do? Join Madrid to win titles with a finished project, or join United to possibly miss out on titles at a new project? That is a good question. Big up to Jay for the question. That's a good question. The thing is, right now, Real Madrid, I think, have built their front line. They've built their midfield. And now is all that's left is their back line. You know, they've got Rudiger, they've got Alaba, they've got Militao, but these are guys that will probably be, they'll kind of be, what's the word? They'll be phased out over the next couple years. They are trying to probably build what looks like to me, Real Madrid are building another dominating era of football. That's what it looks like they're doing. All they're missing is that defensive kind of options, the defensive pieces. I would love for Leny Yoro to come to United, but again, like Jay says here, and what I mentioned earlier, it's all about what is being pitched to him. You look at joining Real Madrid with possibly not being part of, you know, the club in the first season. In your first year there, look at Arda Güler, wasn't a consistent starter, but got little minutes here and here. So it's either that, and then you slowly get phased in to being part of the first team, or you come to Man United and again, you're part of the first team on a regular basis, but there's no guarantee that you're going to win a trophy or win a serious trophy such as the Premier League or Champions League, etc., until another couple years, because it's a project, it's a rebuild. And then on top of that, you think about just putting aside the player's choice, the club has a choice. Lille have a choice to make. Is that they have to try force him out of the door if they really want that transfer to go through. They have to really try and convince him. And United have to give him a very convincing salary, or they just have to accept that the ball is now in Leny Yoro's court, which it is. It is. The ball is in his court, similar to, you know, the Xerxes situation where they were negotiating with his agent for a long, long time. The ball was in the player's court. And once the ball is in the player's court, bro, anything can change, man. You guys remember... Let me show you guys this, because I laugh about it. I even laughed about it when I met him. Because you lot know things can change so quickly, because this guy was meant to join Man United. This guy, press conference, everything in place, all was left to sign on the dotted line, and then his agent come through and swoop. I don't know what his agent did, but he got him a better deal at Chelsea. This guy he literally has the United shirt on, guys. That's why because of this, I never ever believe until I see you at Old Trafford. Until I see, like, I don't care. It could be a hologram. Nowadays, I don't trust it. It could be a hologram, guys. It could be AI. Until I see it in 4K, I don't trust it. And it's because of this guy. I met him at the Champions League final, and I said to him, did you regret? He basically said to me, who do you support? And I said to him, the team that beat you in 2008 in the final. And he started laughing. And then I said, did you regret not signing with us a couple of years before that? And he just laughed with his African laugh. But shout out to him. But okay, yeah, just on Leny Yoro, let me see what you lot are saying. Jay says Yoro can always go to Madrid. I mean, look at Vinicius in his teen years when he joined Madrid, he had it rough. Yeah, exactly. The thing is there's no guarantee that Leny Yoro will be a starter immediately at Real Madrid. There is no guarantee for that. But that's Real Madrid for you guys. Can I just say that? That is Real Madrid. They buy you to phase you into the team. Tchouaméni, Camavinga, they weren't starting consistently when they both joined. They weren't starting regularly. Vinicius he struggled. Arda Güler hasn't started consistently. Got a decent amount of playing time. I think Brahim Diaz got a bit more playing time than him last season, but that was his first year at Real Madrid. So there is always a clear plan for Real Madrid, evidently, when it comes to buying players. And this is an interesting decision, I think, for Leny Yoro to make. It will be a very, very interesting decision to make. Does he go and join this guy at Real Madrid alongside some other great players, or does he even wait the next couple weeks to see who United buy? What forwards do United buy? What midfielders do United buy? What centre backs do United buy? Do you think he waits to see the project that United are putting together? Because he's only got 12 months left on his contract. He could even turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to wait my contract out and make a decision next year as a free agent of joining Madrid or joining United. Now, the only reason why everyone, I think, anticipates he's going to join Real Madrid is because it's been put out there in the media that is his preferred destination. But guys, let me give us a little bit more hope. Let me give us a little bit more hope. Joshua Zirkzee's preferred destination. He had his heart set. He had his heart set on joining AC Milan, but AC Milan couldn't get their shit together. And when I say get their shit together, excuse my language, but well, where did my train of thoughts go? Shit, bro, what the hell did I just say? Who couldn't get their shit together, guys? Who did I just say couldn't get their shit together? Wallahi, it just went out magically out of my head. And this is why, guys, yeah, I hate reading comments while I'm talking, because I just Zirkzee to Milan, thank you very much. What the flip? What kind of forgetfulness was that? But yeah, Zirkzee to Milan. AC Milan couldn't get their shit together. They didn't want to talk or negotiate with his agent about the commission, the salary, etc. They had the set idea in place, especially with Ibrahimovic as their new consultant. And just like that, his heart changed from joining AC Milan to, oh, you know what? I'm open to going to Manchester United. So there is hope. There is hope. There is hope. Min on the spice and blame in the chat. Look at yourself. No, honestly, guys, I don't know what it is, but I hate reading chat whilst I'm trying to say something, because I honestly lose my train of thoughts. So obviously we will revisit this for Leny Yoro. Obviously, if there's any breaking news between now and the next stream, I will be live. But just a little bit of an update on this guy as well. Manuel Ugarte, who I really thought would be the first signing this week. I really thought this is so rude. Oh, that's so Michael, come on. Don't do that, man. My forgetfulness is not that bad. How old is Biden? Because Joe Biden, how old is he? Bruh, he's 81 years old. Of course he cannot flipping remember anything. He's 81 years old. Hold on, he was born in 1942. Bro, my country didn't even have independence then. What has happened since 1942? Let's see all the big life milestones that has happened since 1942, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's see what's happened. Oh, this is all American history. I don't care about American history. No disrespect to my Americans. The Berlin blockade happened in 1948. My granddad was born guys, a few years before Biden. You know that? My grandfather was born a few years before Joe Biden. Let's look at what else has happened. The Communist Revolution in China. There's the Korean War. There's so much has happened, and I still haven't got even to the year that my parents were born. There is so much that has happened since Biden was... How the hell did I get to talking about Biden? How did I get to talking about Biden? Kweku says short out. Biden orders the earth. He was in the background when MLK was given his I Have a Dream speech. It's like Leny Yoro, guys. He's born in 2007. It's actually his birthday on Saturday, and he plays in the final on Sunday. But Leny Yoro, he's the same age as, I think he's actually younger than the first ever iPhone. A lot has happened in 2007. Where was I? I can't even say where I was. I was in secondary school when Leny Yoro was born. It's crazy. Anyways, guys, let's get back to the topic, because we can get off topic very, very easily. Quick update on Mathias De Ligt and Manchester United. Man United are taking big steps towards signing De Ligt, and are now willing. They're in a better position to accept Bayern Munich's 42 million asking price. That is plus bonuses. So it'll be 42 million plus bonuses. I think it'll take it up to 47-ish, 48 million pounds. United want to complete the signing of De Ligt as soon as possible, and nothing is expected to stand in the way of the deal happening for anytime soon. And on top of that, De Ligt has emphasized to Bayern Munich and to his agent that it's Manchester United or nowhere else. He doesn't want to go to any other club. He does not want to stay at Bayern Munich because I think it's been very, very clear that he's not wanted there. He's not part of Vincent Kompany's project. So it's very, very clear that he has to bounce. And he only wants to go and be reunited with his uncle, Erik ten Hag. I saw also a stat today that said that in his managerial career, Erik ten Hag has reunited with players 7 times. So he's signed former players 7 times. This is spread out across his time at Ajax, Utrecht, Manchester United, etc., etc. But he's brought previous players 7 times, which is one of the highest of current managers. Current managers. Very interesting. But I think Mathias De Ligt will be that first signing, guys. I think he'll be the first centre back. It's just a matter of whether his national team crash out. I keep saying crash out if they get knocked out of the Euros, which will kick off in about less than... What? Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished. Wait, no, this is a lie. You see, guys, you see how I get sidetracked so easily, and you lot are giving me facts like this in the chat. Is Joe Biden older than the computer? Is Joe Biden older than the computer? Nah, there's nothing about this. He's older than a microwave. He's older than the microwave, guys. As in, when he was born, they were just heating up food on the stove. On the fire, not even on the stove. They were heating it up on the on the fire because there was no microwave. I forget how 81 is a big age. That's a big age. Older than... Damn. We got Biden, who's older than the computer, and Lamine Yamal, who's younger than the iPhone. Damn. I actually cannot believe, guys, that Joe Biden is only like 3 years older than my grandfather, I think. I think he's like 3 years older than my grandfather. Yeah. Damn. My dad himself is not that much younger than Biden. So let's not get into that. My nan is 115 right now. Shout out to your nan to live till 115. I need to know what the secret is. What is the secret? Because even like in my home country, people live till 90, 100, 110. I have an uncle that's like 92 right now. He's very old, but he's very fit. I need to know what the secret is. I really need to know what the secret is. But let's get back on topic, guys. Why are we talking about age? Why are we talking about... This is how easily we get distracted here. I'm saying we, but it's me. And I'm just blaming you guys. Big up to Mike James in the chat, says, big up, Minna, big up. Kadeem, our resident Everton fan, says, I'm not going to lie, I'm really happy Branthwaite is staying. I don't think Branthwaite... You know what throws me off about Branthwaite, guys, is that no one else is really like... City are in for him by word, but really that's it. There's nothing... It's only United that have been putting in bids. It's only United. So if United walk away from the table, can Everton really actually sell Branthwaite maybe this summer? Maybe they'll revisit it next season instead. Big up T10 says, Salam minna wa alaikum salam, my brother. I hope you... Or sister. I hope you are doing well. She said, good food and herbs, walking barefoot on grass. Let me take my socks off right now. I'm going to go walk barefoot on grass after this stream because I'm trying to live to 115. He is 9 years younger than my grandma and she just turned 90. Damn. Shout out to your grandparents, guys, that are 115. That is an amazing age to live to. Big up to Pookie, says, big up, everyone. Big up. Listen, let's get back on topic. Because I want to talk about this guy. I want to talk about this guy. Not Leny Yoro. We already spoke about him. But another young prospect in the French league that is reported that United have looked into, but there's nothing really set in stone there. There's 2 other English teams that are in for him as well that have actually approached his club, but if you guys do not know, get to know. Rennes Starlet, that's what they're calling him. They're calling him a star. Desire Doue, also linked to Bayern Munich. If Bayern Munich get a front or a forward line that has Harry Kane, Elise, Musiala, and Desire Doue, that is a very, very technically good team, especially that free. Let's not talk about Harry Kane, but especially that free. Now, United haven't been heavily linked to Desire Doue, but again, I'm only mentioning him as a possible player that United could look at if they are able to offload Mason Greenwood, Jadon, Sancho. He would be a good option on that left-hand side. Now, 18, 19 years old, 30 million, I think it's 35 million overall price tag, and he's also one of the players born post 2005 that they're saying is, was it the Golden Boys, one of the Golden Boy nominees. Now, last season that just passed at Runners, he had a very, very good season. We don't need to look at the stats. We don't need to look at if he had 20 assists and 10 goals and all of that kind of stuff. But again, I think it's about the potential. And I think that's what United are looking at when they're looking at players that they're trying to sign. They're looking at players that are already a finished project, Manuel Ugarte, etc., Matthias De Ligt. Then they're looking at people like Joshua Zirkzee. They're looking at Leny Yoro, players that have the potential to go on and be good. And I think Desire Doue should be one that they look at. Now, Chelsea and Tottenham are in for him as well, but I think he's going to probably end up at Bayern Munich. Doue should go Dortmund. His big move will soon come. That's what it is. It's always like players go to Dortmund and then 1 or 2 years later, their big move comes. Now, a player that never got a big move, but he still got a move, was the first sell of the Ineos regime for 500,000 euros. Listen, it's better than nothing. At this point, it's better than nothing. But I can't laugh. I shouldn't laugh, because there's no way you buy a player for 30 million and sell him for 500,000. But United at this point just had to sell him. United just had to part ways with him. And he joins Girona on a permanent transfer. Here we go, as Fabrizio Romano would say. Now, the deal is 500,000 euros, but the add-ons is what makes it a bit of a potentially a profitable transfer. Not profitable, but they can recoup at least near enough to 60% of what they spent on him if those add-ons are met. Some of them are achievable add-ons, so I anticipate it will be things such as like appearances, etc., assists, Then there's some other more difficult add-ons, which is things like, things like, I don't know, if Girona win La Liga or something like that. So it's 500,000 euros starting. Add-ons, easy add-ons which bring it up to 5 million euros, and then more difficult ones that bring it up to 15 to 20 million, plus a sell-on clause. So it looks like a lot of deals that Manchester United are doing where they're selling players under Ineos right now is looking for that sell-on clause. They did it last year with some academy players, and they look like they're doing it again. Big up to Paul with this update. Says Leny Yoro has never said I'm not joining Manchester United. He has not totally said no to United despite his preference for Real Madrid. So that's just a little update on Leny Yoro. Ineos moving mad. Ineos are just, I think they're just trying to get the easy wins, the quick wins. That's what some people call it. It's the quick wins. People like Donny Van de Beek is a quick win. That's a quick person you can offload. You don't really value him at a lot as what you value Jadon Sancho or Mason Greenwood, but you know that just getting his wages off your books and a little bit of revenue, getting it in the door, will put you in a better place than if he was to just stay. That's it. At least he'll get Champions League football. At least he'll get football just in general, because if we looked at his appearances, and I think we went through this a couple of streams ago, he played more games in the Ajax youth team than he did since joining Manchester United and then going on loan to multiple clubs. I don't know if you lot remember, we did this on stream the other day. Let me just have a look here. But I think we can filter it by club. Yeah, let's look at it by club. If we just look at this by club, he barely played for Manchester United. Is actually very unfortunate, the number of minutes that he played. But if we look at Donny Van de Beek's time at Manchester United, he did not play much. He was on £120,000 a week. He played 62 games in 4 seasons at Manchester United. And this is why I say the previous regime failed Manchester United completely, because he was just here you go. You know, guys, this is a stupid kind of comparison, but if you got siblings, you'll know how this feels. You know when when you have older siblings, or you are the oldest sibling, and you're forced to do something with your sibling that you don't want to do. Maybe you're going somewhere and you're forced to take your sibling with you, or you're playing PlayStation and you're forced to let your sibling play with you, and you just do it because your parents are telling you. That is the same with the Donny Van de Beek situation. United didn't want to buy anyone. They had no intentions to recruit properly. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was dying for a transfer. He was dying for a signing. He wanted Jack Grealish before he joined City. They just went to Ajax. They already had a good relationship with Ajax. 35 million, yeah, okay, we'll pay that. Here you go. Here's your signing. And bam, Donny Van de Beek ended up at Manchester United. But he's played more games in the academy system of Ajax than he did for Manchester United. Do you know how unfortunate that is? That is very, very sad. That is a prime example. Maybe, and I didn't rate him, but that's because I just didn't think he ever fitted in for Manchester United, because again, it was a transfer that should never have happened. But as a person and just as a football player, I'm happy that he can finally be away from Man United and get to play football and hopefully enjoy it. He hasn't been called up to his national team in God knows how long. I don't know when the hell the last time he played a full 90 minutes of football. But the fact that he went for 500k for me just shows that Manchester United just had to offload him. It didn't matter for how much. It didn't matter to who. It just had to be, he had to be gone. And 500,000 plus some of achievable add-ons to bring it to 5 million. Maybe the other add-ons bring it up to 15, 20. It could happen, it could not. But I wish him luck. Next update on outgoings of players is Mason Greenwood. So yesterday, David Ornstein reported that Marseille and Manchester United had agreed a report in principle for the proposed move of Mason Greenwood. However, it was still subject to his approval for him to be okay with it all. Now, the deal would have seen Marseille pay £27 million plus, which is the overall fee, which is 23 million plus 4 million in add-ons, plus a significant sell-on clause. Reportedly, some people are reporting it to be 50%. Now, since then, the story has actually kind of evolved a little bit. Now, if we take it back to Monday, when pre-season started for Manchester United, Mason Greenwood reported to Carrington not to train, but to meet with senior leadership of Manchester United, and then left. It was very clear that the plan was always to make sure that he gets that opportunity outside of Manchester United, and Man United sell him. There was never, I think, an intention of having him play for the club. Now, again, similar to Donny Van de Beek, similar to people like Zidane Iqbal, Ethan Led, Alvaro Fernandez, etc., Man United are selling with clauses. They're selling with sell-on clauses. But Mason Greenwood's one, it seems like United accepted a lower fee or a more reasonable fee, such as 27 million and a 50% sell-on clause, because they anticipate that if he does well at Marseille under Roberto De Zerbi, that they will be able to then sell him on for 50, 60 million. That's the kind of teams that some of the French teams are. Monaco, Lille, Rennes, Lyon, etc. They will buy players to then sell them on for big profit. Since then, the story has evolved a little bit. Because Lazio are still keeping an eye on this move. They are still very much interested in it. When it was between Lazio and Marseille, it was reported that Greenwood's preference was Marseille. But also now, I think the mayor of Marseille has come out and said that he will speak to the president of the Marseille Football Club to ensure that they do not buy Mason Greenwood, for reasons that I think a lot of you guys are aware of. And we're not going to get into that kind of aspects because we're here to talk about the football. I'm not going to sit here and talk about whether it's right or wrong, or whether he did what he did, or all of that stuff. We're here to talk about football, so please be respectful in the chat. But since then, the story has evolved, and there's not really been much of an update surrounding that. So as we know right now, from what David Ornstein has reported, and the last kind of cemented information on this, is that Marseille's bid was accepted by Manchester United, and it was just a matter of agreeing personal terms between the player and the club, which I think will happen. Now, I'm revisiting this because you don't remember, I mentioned it ages. I mentioned it last week, I think, where I said I was having a hear me out moment. And it seems like that hear me out moment, according to sources in Italy, it might actually be coming to light, because it's reported that if Juventus return for a bid for Jadon Sancho, which is a player that they really want to get, Federico Chiesa could end up as part of that deal. Now, it's very, very obvious. I think Juve know this. I think Dortmund know this. And I think every other club knows this. Manchester United want money for Jadon Sancho. They do not want a player. It was reported last week that they offered a straight swap deal for Jadon Sancho and Chiesa. And Man United rejected it, saying that they are willing to take, maybe a lesser fee in exchange for this player. But also, guys, Man United got a few wingers. We've got a few wingers. Now that Amad Diallo is expected to have to sit down and have talks with Manchester United about a new contract, you got Alejandro Garnacho, you got Anthony, the one player that I would have said I think should leave the club, and there's been no information about anyone really interested in him. So it does kind of suggest that Anthony's not going anywhere. He's going to be here for the foreseeable future unless anything happens in the next couple weeks and throughout the rest of the transfer window. But United got a few wingers, and I think it would be good if Man United do sell Jadon Sancho and if they do sell Mason Greenwood to sign another winger. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy Rafael Leao or Varaskelia or anybody like that. Someone that can come off the bench, someone that can be a change in a game if we need one. Now, in an ideal world for me, Jadon Sancho apologizes, Erik ten Hag apologizes, and they just keep it moving. But that's an ideal world, and unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world. I think the precedent was set the day that Erik ten Hag decided to be stubborn and Jadon Sancho decided to be stubborn. I would have loved to see a Jadon Sancho flourish at Manchester United. Like, I think I'll do a proper video about it when he officially leaves, because I think it's just so sad. I think the ceiling was so high for him coming into Manchester United, and I will stick by this forever, and I will always say that summer that he came was a summer too late. He was meant to come the summer beforehand. Ed Woodward, all these guys could not negotiate with Dortmund. Dortmund were holding out for their price tag. He came a year later, and then that year is the same summer transfer window that Varane came and Cristiano came, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer told us that changed the tide of their entire plan, everything that they planned for. So Jadon Sancho really never got the chance to get his feet stuck in, and also didn't help himself when it came to situations, especially, most recent. Guys, I swear, if I go to, I'm in my studio space right now, yeah, but if I go to my cupboard and I get out all my Manchester United shirts, over the last 3 seasons, guys, every season I had 2 shirts that said Jadon Sancho on it. And this is why I don't get kits anymore with names on the back. I've stopped doing that. I learned my mistake. I think I haven't done it now since Ronaldo. I've learned my mistake. I've stopped doing it. I have a collection of Paul Pogba shirts. I got a collection of Jadon Sancho shirts. And I got a collection of Cristiano Ronaldo shirts. I back Jadon Sancho so much. And it's just so unfortunate. But you don't remember, man. Last week I said it. I would not be completely against the idea of Chiesa joining Manchester United on less wages and in a role-playing situation in terms of he plays a role. He's not a starter. He can be a bench option. I mean, the thought of going into the season with the same front three is scary. Garnacho, Højlund, Rashford, Bruno. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. But then again, I can't really. It's very difficult. Someone just said in the chat saying, "What's your predictions for next season?" It's very difficult for me to predict next season without knowing the full scope of kind of the outgoings and the incomings. That like it's. I think I will say it's near enough to impossible for me. So I will obviously do predictions closer to the beginning of the season. Just a little update on Willy Kambwala. Rejected a 1-year extension. He's approaching the end of his contract at the end of this approaching season. Man United triggered a 1-year option, but he rejected it. So if he doesn't sit down and have talks, Man United could look to sell him this summer as well, or as an academy kid, have him leave. That's one to keep an eye on. And last but not least, because you guys know today's Wednesday, second day of the Euro semi-finals. Let's not talk about United for a second, because we're going to come and talk about my guy here. This kid here, we're going to come and talk about that. But can we just talk about how shit? Because it was a player option. When you have a player option, the club can trigger it and you can choose whether to accept it or not. But let's talk about the Euro so far quickly, guys. Harry Kane has been shit. Excuse my language. And I've never seen a player protected by the English media so he's been so bad. Like I can't describe. Maybe I understand now the frustrations from Bayern Munich fans this season when I saw a lot of Bayern Munich fans ripping into him online. I understand that frustration because watching him for England, it was such a breath of fresh air watching Ivan Toney come on. If Southgate had any sort of cojones, he would drop Harry Kane just because I think he, except for like them cross pitch switches, he doesn't really offer much. He just occupies space uselessly. Ivan Toney should be starting, especially when you have two runners kind of playing behind you in Foden and Bellingham. I mean, Trippier should not be anywhere near the starting lineup. Kieran Trippier should not be in the starting lineup. Absolutely not. And Southgate changes to accommodate for the crap tactics that he has. He puts Saka at wing back. I will never be under the notion that Saka should play. You play your best players in their best positions. It's as simple as that. I laughed at the idea when Bellingham was subbed off yesterday in the last game. Do you not remember? The board went up for Bellingham. He said, "What? Nah, not me. And then the guy changed the board and said, "Oh, And that further proves that Southgate comes into the game with a pre-planned substitutions. Because Bellingham comfortably knew that it wasn't him that was meant to be coming off. He actually said, it's this guy that's meant to come off, not me. He knew comfortably. Now, looking at Declan Rice, looking at Kobbie Mainoo, my cousin pointed out something. Shout out to my cousin in it. My cousin pointed something out to me. I think it was the second game of the Euros. And my cousin said to me, Minna, just watch Declan Rice every time the defenders have the ball. And I said, okay. He goes, watch Kobbie and watch Declan Rice. I said, why? He goes, Kobbie is trying to find space to kind of drop in and pick the ball up. And he said, Declan Rice is just being the shadow of the opponent. So if the striker, the opposing striker is pressing, say, Kyle Walker or John Stones, he said, Declan Rice is just being the shadow of that striker. And he's basically hiding behind the player. And I didn't really notice it that much until my cousin pointed it out. And so I started to look at it a bit more. And I found that funny. But what I don't find funny is when England, were looking for those kind of ball diagonal passes to change the game, change the pace of the game, change the dynamic of the game, you have Trent Alexander-Arnold sitting on your bench. Southgate will rather play Trent in midfield. We could tell after the first game that this guy cannot play back to game. He can't do that. But his passing out of this world. So he should be playing at right back. But instead you want to play Kieran Trippier at wing back on one side and Saka wing back on the other side. It is a joke. However, I just feel like, and this is where I want to hear you lot's predictions, guys. Top goal scorers at the Euros: 1 own goal has scored. 2 Gakpo, Omar, and Mikatadze on 3 goals. Wait, own goal. There's been 9 own goals in the Euros. What? There has been 9 own goals. I didn't know that. I remember there's been a few own goals, but I mean, France had 2 own goals in itself. But I didn't realize there was 9 own goals. That is so jokes. Xerxes going to send England home. I can see it happening. That will be so funny. But you know what also would be funny, guys? And this is why I'm saying I can see it happening. 11 own goals. Damn. This is why I'm saying I can see it happening. I can see England going to the final after a shit Euros. Like, guys, let's call it where it is. And this is not just on England, but let's talk about France. Portugal have been a bit underwhelming as well. I think the only team that's been exciting and entertaining and have actually lived up to the expectation was Spain. And I don't think a lot of people had Spain in the final talk. When I was talking about finals, I think I had Spain getting knocked out in the semis. I think I said Spain will get knocked out in the semis. Spain have been energetic. They've been exciting. Even the fact that they don't have a number 9 that has brain cells. They got 2 of the best wingers in the Euros right now in Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. They got Rodri, one of the best players of the competition. They got Dani Olmo, one of the best players of the competition. They got Fabio Ruiz putting in a shift. Their defense is a bit I'll give you that. But out of all the other clubs, all the other nations, England, France, all of them that had that hype around them, Spain have been the only good team. So I feel I would understand if it's Netherlands. If it's Netherlands, been all right as well. Netherlands has been actually good. I really wanted Turkey to beat them the other day though. But predictions, guys. Let's get the predictions quickly out of the way. With the way everything is, and sometimes I just feel this is like an England way to win. I feel like England's gonna win. I just feel like England's gonna go on to win, and then they're gonna get smoked in the final. And you know what's so funny, guys? If you're not from the UK, there's a thing called a knighthood where you get knighted by the king or the queen, and you get like an MBE or an OBE. So you have to get, I think, 2 before you become sir. You get MBE, and I think it's an OBE, and then you become a sir. It's reported that Southgate is set to become a sir. He's going to get a knighthood in the New Year's King's achievements or whatever it's called at the end of the year. He's going to become a sir, whether or not England win. Like, come on. Why are we rewarding mediocreness? This is the downfall of England, is that you get to a semi-final and a final and you're like, yeah, well done. Like, come on. Do you know how many great actual people that have done the stuff for sport in the UK that have a knighthood, that have sir? I can think of quite a few. I can think of Sir Mo Farah. I could think of Sir Chris Hoy, people that have won so many Olympic gold medals. But this guy has taken England to a semi-final of a World Cup, a Euros final, a quarter-final, of another World Cup, and then a semi-final. Come on, let's be for real. Sir Bobby Charlton, literally. Sir Alex Ferguson. That is, for me, Sir Alex Ferguson, that is an example of someone getting a knighthood. Because they flipping deserved it. Not Southgate. Anyways, let's get back to the football and not kind of dwell on the idea of knighthoods. I think England's gonna win. I just feel like it's kind of written for that to happen. If England do win, please, this guy right here. You see this guy? Oh, you lot can't see it. This guy right here. I just want to see him get put on his ass one time. Not in a weird way, but I want to see him. Remember when, who was it? Messi made someone eat grass in the Champions League. I can't remember. It was Bayern Munich game. But anyways, you don't know what I'm talking about. I want Van Dijk to get embarrassed. That's all. I've seen, shout out to Liverpool fans, man. Liverpool fans make me laugh so much. I've seen Liverpool fans talking about how Kanate hasn't conceded a goal at the Euros. Yeah, because he flipping didn't play. Of course he didn't flip. Boateng, that's it. I want to see a Boateng moment for Van Dijk. That's it. And I don't care what happens for England, guys. I don't care if they go on to win. I don't care if they go on to lose. I just hope this guy has a great performance. If he scores the winner, if he scores the opener even, I will just be happy with that. I think he's had a good competition. I mean, it's taken him some time to kind of get to even get into the squad, but finally Southgate has realized it's not worth experimenting with all these other players. So it'll be nice. I need De Ligt on the plane and Xerxes. Exactly. If England beat Netherlands, at least that makes everything a lot easier for Manchester United. And I could be here for that. I could totally be here for that. So that is why actually we should want the Netherlands to lose. We should want the Netherlands to lose so that Xerxes and De Ligt can be here. We go. Big up to everyone. Listen, be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Did we get to 100 likes? Yes, we did. We got to 100 likes, consistent streams of 100 likes. Big up to everyone. Listen, like I said, if there's any news between here today and the next stream tomorrow, the daily content here on the channel, then I will be live. But if not, I will be live tomorrow, probably around the same time, with a roundup of all the news, and hopefully we'll be a bit closer to maybe hearing something about somebody joining Manchester United, man. You guys know what it is. Listen, if you want to join the Minions gang, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. Follow me on all socials, guys. Here, I'm posting more on TikTok. It's so embarrassing posting on TikTok, but I'm posting more on TikTok. I'm posting more on Instagram. I'm posting always on Twitter as well. So be sure to follow me on all platforms over there. If you're watching this back on stream, be sure to hit the like button, and I hope to catch a lot of you guys on tomorrow's stream, man. You don't know what it is. Hit the like button. I'm out. Peace.